fair. What I know for sure is if you focus on the substance, the success will come. And most importantly, let failure be your friend. There are going to be times, of course, where you're going to win a lot. A lot of things are going to go your way. And it's wonderful to bask in that adulation and to feel proud of your successes. But it's the times when things go wrong, when you fall or fail, that you're actually going to learn the most about yourself. You know, all those years on the Oprah show, 25 years, we were the #1 show for 25 years. And that's because I lived with the intention to serve the audience. When I was able to shift the paradigm to start to looking at, wow, what I have instead of what I don't have, what I have instead of what I thought I'd lost, I was able to begin to turn things around. But it's those moments of uncertainty. It's the moments where all of my mistakes show up on the evening news. I can tell if I've done something wrong. It's on the CNN crawl. I can read about it. But learning from the moments where things weren't going so great, being able to get still, to connect with that which I know is God, the force, the power greater than myself, and to come back and realize that in order to move forward, you move forward by taking the next right step. You don't have to know everything to do. You don't have to know all the steps to make, just what is the next right move. And then there's this. I leave you with this. Nobody makes it alone. Nobody. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what their Insta posts say. Nobody makes it alone. And so you will get nowhere without a spiritual practice. You need a spiritual practice. And by that, I mean not necessarily religion. For some people, it is church. For some people, it is meditating. For some people, it's dancing. For some people, it's singing. But you have got to find a way to nurture that which is the essence of you.
Pull away from what a group of people thinks. Maybe it's your creative community, it's your critics. The first time you pull away and find power in standing on your own, I think your heart is marked by the wild. I think you belong into the wilderness in a different way. Because every time after that, when you choose fitting in over belonging to yourself, it's painful. And so to me, the whole idea is not just navigating the wilderness, which I think every poet and theologian and writer over time has used the wilderness as this kind of a lone journey thing. It's not just about navigating the wilderness, it's about becoming the wilderness. It's about becoming, I am going to be on my own a lot, and it's going to be okay, because there is beauty and strength in that. And it's not that I won't ever find great joy in being a part of something, but I will always belong to and believe in myself first. Vulnerability is defined as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Can you name one act of courage that you've ever been involved in or that you've ever even witnessed that did not involve uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure? And it's a loaded question because I know the answer is no, because I've asked it thousands and thousands. I've stood in front of Navy SEALs and Special Forces military personnel and said, give me an example. I want you to try hard to give me an example of courage that didn't require vulnerability. And in 10 years, I've never had a single person be able to come up. I've even had 2 guys come up to me who were in the military that said, we're gonna think about it and get with you. Give me an example of courage, even on the field, that doesn't involve vulnerability. If you think you're being brave and it doesn't involve risk or uncertainty, you're not being that brave. This is the passage that changes my life. It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it better. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred with blood and sweat and dust, who at the best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails daring greatly. It is not about winning, it's not about losing, it's about showing up and being seen. The second thing, This is who I want to be. I want to create. I want to make things that didn't exist before I touched them. I want to show up and be seen in my work and in my life. And if you're going to show up and be seen, there is only one guarantee, and that is you will get your ass kicked. That is the guarantee. That's the only certainty you have. If you're going to go in the arena and spend any time in there whatsoever, especially if you've committed to creating in your life, you will get your ass kicked. So you have to decide at that moment, I think for all of us, if courage is a value that we hold, this is a consequence. You can't avoid it. This is the question. This is when the universe comes down and puts her hands on your shoulders and pulls you close and whispers in your ear, I'm not fucking around. You're halfway to dead. The armor is keeping you from growing into the gifts I've given you. That is not without penalty. Time is up. So this is what you see happen to people in midlife. And it's not a crisis. It's a slow, brutal unraveling. And this is where everything that we thought protected us keeps us from being the partners, the parents, the professionals, the people that we want to be. And so you really have a choice in midlife. I'm not saying just pull off all the armor and streak through Austin, because I think you can replace the armor with something. I think it's curiosity is what you replace it. You just become very curious about yourself, about the world. Why did I react that way? Curiosity is really the superpower for the second half of our lives, because it keeps us learning, it keeps us asking questions, and it increases our self-awareness.
We're talking about getting, I don't have a hat here, but we're talking about the default network in your mind. So imagine that there's like a filter on your brain that is a default setting that has a limiting belief. What we're trying to teach you to do is to identify this filter and the limiting beliefs that go on with it. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be successful. Nobody likes me. You look at the whole world through that lens. And we want you to take it off. And we want you to reprogram a different one that has different information on it. Okay? So that your default setting becomes more positive. You will always have a default setting. Your brain needs it. Your brain needs to automate certain functions, and your brain also needs to filter information that's inbound so that your head doesn't explode. Can't let everything in, or else you would be way too overstimulated to even make it through your day. So, yes, you can overcome and get rid of limiting beliefs because you can program your default settings to be different. You can program your outlook to be more positive. You can program yourself to be the kind of person that tries instead of doubting yourself. You can program yourself just like you saw me. We had a massive tech breakdown with thousands and thousands of people watching. And instead of having my entire attitude go negative because of my own limiting beliefs that I disappoint people, I'm able to keep it mostly together because I have reprogrammed my default settings. Now, yes, you can overcome your limiting beliefs for good by reprogramming your default settings. However, there will be things that happen to you that trigger you. It's unavoidable. You're going to lose people that you love. You're going to try new things and you're going to fail. You are going to face rejection. You are going to feel pain. You are going to have moments where you feel extremely low, and you can't avoid that. And that's going to trigger you to start to doubt yourself. But here's what's going to happen. Because you fundamentally, you work on reprogramming your default settings, you're not going to go down the rabbit hole as far as you normally would. And you also now have the skills to recognize that just because something bad has happened to me, it doesn't mean the world is bad. It doesn't mean that I am bad. You will have the game-changing ability to see that events and people and things that happen to you do not define you. And And when you start to do that, because your default settings in your brain have been programmed to be more positive, they've been programmed to be more courageous, they've been programmed to be more compassionate and self-loving, your life will be very, very different.
Relationship to improve is the one you have with yourself. When you are happy with yourself, then all your other relationships improve too. A happy person is very attractive to others. If you are looking for more love, then you need to love yourself more. This means no criticism, no complaining, no blaming, no whining, and no choosing to feel lonely. It means being very content with yourself in the present moment and choosing to think thoughts that make you feel good now. There is no one way to experience love, for we all experience love in different ways. For some of us to really experience love, we need to feel love through being hugged and touched. For others to really feel loved, we need to hear the words, "I love you." For others, we need to see a demonstration of love, like a gift of flowers. Our preferred way of experiencing love is often the way we feel most comfortable demonstrating love. I suggest that you work on loving yourself non-stop. Demonstrate to yourself the growing love that you have for yourself. Treat yourself to romance and love. Show yourself how special you are. Pamper yourself. Buy yourself flowers. Surround yourself with colors, textures, and scents that please you. Life always mirrors back to us the feelings we have inside. As you grow in an inner sense of love and romance, the right person to share your growing sense of intimacy will be attracted to you like a magnet. If you want to go from loneliness thinking to fulfillment thinking, then you need to think in terms of creating a loving mental atmosphere within you and around you. Do let all those negative thoughts about love and romance just fade away and fill your mind with thoughts of love. Think of sharing love and approval and acceptance with everyone you meet. When you are able to contribute to the fulfillment of your own needs, then you will not be so needy, so codependent. It has to do with how much you love yourself. When you truly love who you are, you stay centered, calm, and secure, and your relationships at home as well as at work are wonderful.